If you're looking for a guitar amp right now, you're probably staring at a wall of identical black boxes, completely overwhelmed by the options. Blackstar alone makes everything from $50 battery-powered desktop toys to multi-thousand-dollar stage rigs. It is a massive catalog. But most people make the exact same mistake when sorting through it. They filter by their budget, rather than looking at their daily playing habits. This chart is a matrix of solutions, branching into 3 paths. The traditionalist plugs in place. The modern optimizer records into a computer. The gigging pro needs stage volume. If you buy the wrong underlying technology for your specific room, you're wasting your money, even if you buy the most expensive model they make. Let's start with the traditionalist. You don't want to deal with firmware updates, LCD screens, or hidden menus. You want physical controls. If your main constraint is space and you want to play anywhere, the Fly 3 series runs on batteries and fits on a bookshelf. But physics always wins. A 3-inch speaker powered by AA batteries cannot produce deep bass, and it will be completely drowned out the second a live drummer starts playing. That brings us to the primary alternative for a traditional setup, the Debut series, which scales up to models like the 50R. This certificate shows the official classification for the Debut 50R. It relies entirely on solid-state architecture, meaning the signal path is purely analog circuitry, isolated from digital processing. Because of that analog circuitry, the amplifier responds instantly to the physical knobs on the front panel. There is zero latency between your hand and the speaker. However, choosing pure analog introduces workflow friction. You do not get a built-in USB audio interface, and you cannot connect it to a computer for deep software editing. For the exact same price, competing digital amplifiers offer dozens of built-in effects and direct recording capabilities that the Debut series lacks. You choose solid-state when immediate analog gratification is more valuable to you than modern studio connectivity. The modern optimizer requires the exact opposite. You sit at a desk, use a digital audio workstation, and need access to dozens of different tones without filling your room with gear. The standard solution here is the ID Core V4 series, housed in a traditional combo amp format. Here is the certification for the ID Core high power line. The architecture completely shifts here to a digital foundation. That digital brain allows the amp to process stereo effects internally and send a finished audio signal directly to your computer via USB, bypassing the need for a physical microphone entirely. This plot maps the options for a studio setup. If you want maximum recording versatility with minimal physical footprint, the 10-amped series offers a radical alternative to the combo amp. Looking at the documentation for the Amped 1, we can see it shares the exact same digital classification as the ID Core. It compresses a 100-watt amplifier and an audio interface into a metal box the size of a standard guitar pedal. It removes the amp from your desk entirely. But that form factor has steep requirements. It only makes sense if you already use a pedal board, and it lacks a physical speaker, so it moves absolutely zero air in the room on its own. Furthermore, adopting digital architecture guarantees you will face option paralysis. You trade physical knobs for firmware updates and endless drop-down menus on your monitor. Digital architecture gives you a limitless recording studio in a single box, but it forces you to navigate workflow friction and screen time to get there. Finally, the Gigging Pro. You need uncompressed volume for live shows, but your lower back is exhausted from hauling 60-pound wooden cabinets into venues. Blackstar targets this specific physical problem with the St. James series. This training certificate confirms the St. James abandons digital and solid-state designs entirely, reverting back to traditional glass valve technology. The engineering hook here is weight reduction. It provides the physical push and dynamic response of a classic 50-watt tube amp, but it's built to be the lightest of its kind in the world. But vacuum tubes run hot and burn out. It's a century-old technology relying on fragile glass and intense voltage. Choosing a valve architecture like the St. James demands a much higher upfront cost and commits you to the routine physical maintenance of buying and replacing those tubes over time. You get uncompromised stage-filling acoustic response, as long as you can tolerate the long-term financial and maintenance overhead. Selecting the right amplifier is rarely a subjective debate about tone. It is a strict calculation matching your physical environment to the correct technology. This matrix clarifies the final decision by aligning the 3 player profiles against the 3 core architectures. If you are a traditionalist who wants to plug in and play immediately, Look at the solid-state debut series and completely avoid digital models. If you are a home studio producer recording into a computer, you need the digital flexibility of the ID Core or Dept 10 amp series, and you should ignore the expense of valve amps. And if you are a gigging pro competing with a drummer, step up to the St. James valve line, accepting the maintenance that comes with it. Stop chasing vague promises about ultimate tone. Map out your physical constraints, your desk space, your volume limits, your patience for software menus, and let those dictate the architecture you buy.